Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Our Kids Play Hockey. We want to let you know that we have once again been honored with a nomination for the Hockey Podcast of the Year via the Sports Podcasting Awards. And all you need to do to help us is go to ourkidsplayhockey.com and click on the Vote Now button. It asks you a couple questions. You're in and you're out, and you have voted for us for Hockey Podcast of the Year. I want to thank you all for being a wonderful, wonderful audience and helping us get to this stature of hockey podcasting, because we've done it as a family, as the hockey friends and families around the world. Thanks so much and enjoy this episode of Our Kids Play Hockey. Well, hello, hockey friends and families around the world. I'd like to welcome you to this special edition. I don't even know what to call this. I've been trying to figure out for the past week how I want to do a season in review for my son's Mite team this year. I thought maybe I'll write this one. Maybe I'll just send a text message. And then I thought about it. I said, you know what? I'm going to come on here and I'm going to record this kind of mini, whatever this is, episode to kind of review the season, because I think there was a special season here. And I know we all have them from time to time, but I learned a lot this season. And in my ongoing kind of mission to share what I've learned, right, so we can all learn from each other, I thought this was actually the best venue for this. So I want to share. I got notes here. This is a kind of a year in review of my son's Mite B team. He plays for the Haverford Hawks in Pennsylvania. And a lot happened this year, you know. And I took a week. Our season ended, like completely ended, last Sunday, and fantastically. And I can't wait to tell you about that. And it wasn't with a win, but I cannot wait to tell you how the season ended. And I wanted to take some time to get my thoughts together, because you know how it is. After the season ends, it's a lot of different emotions. It's happy, it's sad. Everybody's saying goodbye, and it wasn't the right time for me to express myself. And I'd like to kind of really sit back and devour my thoughts before I share them. And I have them here today. So, you know, coming into this season, a lot of people can forget this. And by the way, when you're watching this, this is the 2021-2022 season. If you're watching this in the future, coming to the season, COVID was still looming and very, very scary. Nobody knew what was going to happen. And I wasn't sure if I even wanted to coach, but I was convinced by the head coach, Jason, who I'll talk about a lot in this episode, is a great guy. He said, look, if COVID comes back and they shut down the ability for parents to come back in, this is the only way you're going to get to see your kid. And, you know, I have the skill sets and I have the knowledge, and he invited me to be part of the coaching staff. So I said, you know what? Okay, I'll volunteer and I'll be there kind of when I can. That was kind of my attitude. No intent on this becoming a full-time thing. And, you know, when the season started, I remember I took this approach and I wrote this down. The mentality was like I do with every team I work with. And this is from the pro level, college level, and this now youth level, which I've never worked at before, really, outside Adams for 1 year, which is much more just practices than games, that I'm going to try and learn as much as I can from this group. Now, the head coach, Jason, this is what's special about him. This is only his second year coaching youth hockey, right? And he loves it. It's obvious that he loves it. Okay. And he's always trying to learn, at least from my point of view. And like I said, he's going to watch this. He's a second year coach. So he has, like most second year coaches have, he's got a lot of excitement, and self-admittedly doesn't have a lot of experience. There's nothing wrong with that. And I remember telling him, like, look, I'm your student. He kind of looked at me and I said, I'm your student, man. I have never coached this level. And I remember he said, well, I've only done it a year. And I said, so you're more than me. So we entered into this relationship, this coaching relationship, with that kind of mutual understanding of, like, look, let's learn from each other. Let's work together. I'm sharing that with you because really all years should start like that. There's so much ego in youth sports, and there's so much ego, and I'm not trying to lecture here, but it can get in your way. And, you know, there was just a common understanding there right from the beginning of, like, let's build trust, let's communicate, let's find a way through this. Doesn't always happen. Not everybody's perfect with it, but that happened there. Also, we had great communication with the families and the kids early on. I can remember we had an early season meeting. It was outside because we weren't allowed inside at the time. And you got the impression this is going to be good, right? So one of the things I asked Jason to do, and he allowed me to, was this little experiment of, let's do off ice with these kids, 6, 7, 8, and eventually 9-year-olds during the season. That's the age range. And he embraced it. And we started doing that right away at the start of the year. And like most off ice events, you know, nobody knew each other and it was a little awkward at first, but we did these every single Thursday night throughout the season, minus the odd one here or there. I got to tell you, it was a massive success. These kids completely bought into it. And I'm going to be totally honest with you. At times they were super frustrating. It was tough to get them to focus. Every once in a while I had to kick a kid out of a off ice drill. But they were always smiling. They were always laughing. I remember at the end of the season, this one specifically, I was doing an exercise. I was getting really frustrated because they really weren't listening. And then something snapped. It was because this coaching staff and our kids play hockey, this show. I looked up, they were all smiling, they were all laughing, and they were all together. I remember thinking, man, we did it. We did it. You're being too critical of yourself. Maybe a little ego from me of like, I got to get this done. It took me a minute they taught me that. Like, you did it. It's important as a coach to recognize, really as a person, to recognize when they get it. They were together. And I'll come back to that even more later. As the season started, and I want to talk about this, I struggled heavily, kind of from the start of the season till mid-season, when it was at its worst around December, January. I had a really hard time suppressing. I didn't expose this to the kids, exposing it to you, but I had a really hard time suppressing my competitive instincts. Now, what I mean by this is this: at the pro level coaching, at the college level coaching, it's not the only thing, but you're paid to win. All right. Your goal is to win. All right. Now, I have a lot of philosophies. If you listen to the show, you know that it's not just about winning games, it's about creating great people. I really believe in that. But the competitive nature of that level of hockey is to win. And I hate losing. I hate it. All right. And I'm a stickler for performance and, doing things right and putting in the work and all this stuff. These kids are 8 average age. Okay. And I was keenly aware of that. And so I had to really suppress this urge, and it got extremely frustrating for me at times. I want to say this again. I didn't convey it outwardly towards the kids. I'm sure you could see it. In fact, I remember one time Jason did message me, you're right, because I was probably showing it. I'm proud of myself for not showing it to the kids, but I'm not proud of myself for not getting this in containment earlier. Right. And I remember it was peaking like mid-season. I was getting every game was becoming a struggle. Like, I was massive anxiety after the games. And I'm thinking, I'm like, why are you feeling this way? This is Mite hockey. And something snapped, and a voice popped in my head, just like, man, just enjoy it. Just enjoy it. Things we always talk about on our show. And for whatever reason, I was able to snap out of it. And really every game after that was a joy. I went there, and look, I don't like losing. Still hate losing. All right. But I was able to just kind of compartmentalize that. And they're 8. It was a good game. They're having fun. They're working hard. Even games we didn't do great, keep it in perspective, the Mite hockey thing. All right. And it's funny. I'll tell you this. I'm not the only coach on the team that shared that kind of anxiety. And it was nice to actually be able to express that and share that with another parent and another coach that, yeah, I feel this too. And it's something I got to work on. Funny story. I remember in the middle of the season, no, late season, one of our kids losing his mind on the bench, just completely losing it. And I was so concerned. And again, this is what I do for my life. I'm like, wow, what is it? What's going through his mind? What is going on that he's not able to control himself? And I remember another coach on the team, Mike, turns to me. He goes, he's 8. He's 8. And I remember I laughed. I said, you're right, man. You can forget these things, right? We see things through our own eyes. I wasn't seeing it through the eyes of the kid at that moment. Learning season. Like I said, I learned so much from these kids. But that was really hard for me. I had a really hard time with that for half the season. I feel like I've overcome it, but I feel like I've also learned things now I can take emotionally to the pro level to better utilize my emotional state and understand what I'm feeling and why I'm feeling it. But this is full disclosure here, right? I want you to know what I felt. I am sure there's a lot of parents and coaches out there that feel what I'm saying, but don't talk about it. I'm talking about it, right? I don't like to lose. I was feeling it. So I'll get off this. I just wanted you to know I felt that. Let me talk a little bit about the games. Yeah. So like most Mite hockey, we started at one place, we ended one place. I thought that we did a good job evolving our practices throughout the year. Again, I've never run Mite practices, right? I really had to look at the USA Hockey kind of ADM stuff and the drills, and I applied some of that in kind of a mix and match of just, good fundamental skills with ADM drills, with also some drills that I wanted to work on as a team when I was running practices some days. I would have great calls with the head coach, Jason, throughout the week to talk about drills. And I really enjoyed those calls. It was really no different than calls at a pro level, where just discussing the best things to work on and how to deconstruct a skill set, which I really enjoyed that, believe it or not. We don't do that so much at the top level, but, I shouldn't say top level, just the professional level, deconstructing a goal to basic fundamentals was really fun. And was really fortunate. I got to reach out to our other coach. I'm not going to use any last names on this just to keep it protected, but the other coach, Mike, who's been coaching youth hockey for a long time, I was able to call him and say, hey, how do you do this at the squirt level? Like I was trying to work on a breakout. How do you do this at the next level? I love that type of stuff, the technicality of it. And I had a lot of fun being creative in that world with these kids. And again, they sometimes they frustrated me on the ice, but that was the other great lesson of this year, right? When I coach adults, I expect them to pick up on something 2, 3, maybe 4 times after doing it to have a clue. And I brought that mentality with these kids of like, just do it. That's totally wrong. And I realized, again, there's nothing that helped me halfway through the season. It might take 8, 9, 10 weeks before something clicks, and you got to stay on it. But once I got that in my head, I was calmer with the repetition of like, no, we're just going to do this again. Then we're going to do it again until you get it. And you know what? When I took that, they did start getting it. I'm just thinking like passing, right? Beginning of the year, it was a very individualistic game. As the team building grew, as we worked on passing as drills, you could see them start to pass in the game. We did some very basic breakout fundamentals. You could see them come to the game. All right. That's the cool part about being a Mike coach, is seeing these things. You know, a player that shoots every time suddenly starts passing. Like that was really cool to see them come to life. Right. So I was really fortunate with that. The coaching staff, I've said this on the episode, fantastic. Absolutely, for me, no issues this year. I can only speak for myself, right? I don't get the impression there was issues with the other ones either. But Jason, Micah, and Mike, I enjoyed every conversation. I enjoyed every game. I enjoyed being able to lean on them, have them lean on me. It was a true coaching, conglomerate of success. We all brought something different to the table. We all respected each other. We had great conversations throughout the year. That's what a coaching staff should be. I think with Jason, and like myself, I say this all the time, you got to know your gaps, right? And I think he knew that and started to apply that, right? And as he evolved as a coach throughout the year, he was learning more about himself. And, like that's another thing with coaches. Coaches have to be patient with other coaches. I talk a lot, obviously, right? I have to tell myself not to talk so much and listen. And, we fill each other's gaps. I just thought the coaching staff did a great job with that this year. I was really privileged to work with each and every one of you. If you're watching this, I learned something from every single one of you. And that really is the gift. The parents, I had, this was one of the most blessed years I've ever had in hockey. I'm talking from when I played youth hockey all the way till today. Every parent on this team was respectful, wonderful. No drama. Again, from my point of view, there was a common understanding. We all cared about each other's kids. That's a gift. And I've been around the game long enough to know you're not going to get that every year. In fact, it's rare. So I just want to say that to the parents. Thank you so much for being so wonderful to all of us. It was a clear understanding we cared about your kids. All right. And I that's got to be number one when you're coaching at this level, right? It's got to be number one. I mean, I know you want to know skill and development, and all that stuff too. And don't get me wrong, those definitely rank, but I never felt that any parent on this team didn't think that I had their kids' best interest in mind. Even when some of them got hurt doing off ice, which happened a couple of times, I never got the impression they didn't trust me with what I was doing. That is a gift, 100%. Let's talk about the actual gameplay. So in Mite hockey, it's not about the league play, right? Because the games don't matter. We rarely kept score. So really tournaments are your time to win. I'm going to start this right away. We played in 4 tournaments. We won 2 of them. We came in second in one of them, which I'm going to talk about, which you got to hear this story because it's amazing. And one of them, we didn't place at all. It was a few weeks before the last tournament of the year. It was really weird too. We had a 7:30 a.m. game on a Saturday and then didn't have another game. And then the team canceled. We were going to play 31 hours later. It was a mess. But what was wonderful is in each of these tournaments, man, the kids came together and you could see it. They got better with every single game. They trusted each other and they played a team game. Now, listen, one of the things that bugged me coming into the season was this idea that kids like this age can't do that. They can't play together. They can't bond together. BS. These kids proved it. And I'm going to tell you how. First tournament we played was earlier in the year. It was in Pennsylvania. I would say we were one of the better teams in the tournament, to be fair. There's some teams kind of gave us a little competition, but the kids just rose to the challenge and were amazing. We won that one. And it was a great start to the year. Okay. It was a confidence booster. That's what it was. It wasn't much more than that. My son got his first really great goal in a game in the championship game. That was really cool for me. The hard work put in. So that was good. The second tournament was an outdoor tournament in York. this one was really special because it was still cold enough to be uncomfortable. Early morning games, travel, and apparently this team, a lot of the players didn't win it the year before. It was really great because this is one we didn't know we were going to win, right? Some of the games were close. In fact, the way the points worked in this, it's about like winning periods, not winning games. And we didn't win every period. So when we got to the final, I remember this. We were playing very well, but not scoring. And I remember that I turned to Mike on the bench and I said, look, I don't want to change anything. I don't think we should change anything. Same thing with Jason. Some of these are going to start going in. And we just keep it calm, right? Keep it calm. And we did. And the team totally ran away with it. And again, there's a great picture of the team winning and throwing all their gear in the air. Like that was one we really earned this one. Another great bonding experience. And it was the second tournament of the year to 2 tournaments, 2 wins. The third tournament was a little weird. It was in Hershey. Again, it was really weirdly planned. We had a 9 a.m. game on a Friday, then a 2:30 game on a Friday. Didn't win the first one, won the second one. Then we had a 7-something a.m. game on Saturday. We lost that game. Then we had nothing planned. So we're in a consolation game. And then that game got canceled because the team left. So that one left a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth. And I remember thinking, and this is where it gets fun. I remember thinking, oh man, I really didn't want the season to end like this. Because the next tournament we're playing in an A division tournament. And I remember thinking like, I don't know how these kids are going to do in this. And I really want to leave feeling good. It was also the time of the year where like hockey's kind of closing, tryouts are happening. Parents and teams and kids are starting to figure out, well, hey, what are we doing next year? So that started to seep in a little bit into the fabric of the team. It got a little weird. Not in a political way. It was just weird. Like, some kids are leaving, some kids are staying, some kids are moving up, some kids are staying down. Age wise. So I remember thinking like, man, I don't know. It's just such a great year. So that brings us to the final week of the season. And I got to tell you guys, I am so touched by what happened here. This is the coolest thing in the world to me. All right. So remember, we've been doing team building all year. By the way, we also did Mites on Ice at the Flyers game. That was awesome. I'll talk about that in an actual Our Kids episode. That was really fun. All the kids were on the ice together. They totally had a great time there at the Flyers game. We're coming to the last week of the year. As the last practice of the year, I actually put on all my player gear. I always try and do that with the kids. I put on all my player gear and really just have a great time with them on the ice. Fun, smiles, right? Wonderful. I would have been okay with that being the end of the season. Because remember, I'm thinking like, we're going to get, I don't know about this A division. I don't know how we're going to do. I hope we can compete. Right. So tournament weekend comes around. First game is 6 a.m. on a Saturday morning. And we're playing our A team. Okay. So without going through all the things, our team was a Mite B team. We're playing our Mite A team. I know that's not the correct terminology. But that's the best way to describe it. These kids go out there. I remember before the game, this A team is very talented. They're a good team. Okay. They have very talented players. And I remember telling our team, we just got to play together. Right. Actually, my son couldn't play in the game because asthma is there. So we show up and I said, just play together, work hard. That's all you can do. And we get out there and the A team scores pretty quickly. I remember that. And one thing I've been telling our team all year was if I shout out on the bench, what's the score? The score is always 0-0, no matter what the score is. It's just the mentality thing of stay even keeled, and we stayed in it. And it was 3-1 at one point, I think. And we stayed in. Then we started scoring. And then we won the game. We won the game 8-7. In fact, and I'm not knocking the A team here. Okay. They were up by 2 or 3 goals with a few minutes left, kind of stopped playing. And our kids just played. It was kind of like miracle in that sense. And we won the game. Huge, just amazing moment. Now, if it gets better, just follow me here. So we beat our A team in an A tournament, right? I'm thinking, okay, maybe that was the peak, maybe not. But I was so proud of the kids because they really band up together and play. We were down we were down 3 or 4 kids. And we brought a couple other comparable players in. Wasn't, people say ringers. I don't really agree with that. They were comparable to the competition. All right. And it was just 2 or 3 players. Fight me on that if you want. I don't think it made that big of a difference in terms of the team mentality. Second game rolls around that day. I'm thinking, okay, we're playing another A team. We win that game. We won that game. I'm sorry, it was a tie. So it felt like a win, right? We tied that team. They were a good team. Next morning rolls around. We had a game in the morning at 10:15, and we were playing the team that hadn't won yet. But we're very short bench. I think we only had 7 kids. We win that game. and they're coming together. They're playing. They're doing everything they can. My son came back that game from asthma. We win that game. We just went 3-0 in the A division. And guess what happens for the championship game? Guess who stormed back, rightly so, to meet with us in the final? The A team, right? So we're coming into this final, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm feeling a little uneasy because I'm like, this is one of those games that could accidentally get out of hand. All right, I'm not dumb. No organization wants their A team to play a B team in a potential losing situation for the A team. It doesn't look good. It wasn't my concern, but like what I'm saying is that there's a lot surrounding the game here that could be construed the wrong way. So we're in the locker room, we're talking to the team. All the coaches gave great messages. And I remember I said, look, this is like a revenge game for them. They're thinking about you. Let's just focus on ourselves. And I said this, and I meant it. I don't care what the result of the game is score wise. All I care about is that this is a culmination of our season. You give everything you have, every shift, and just know at the end of the game, you did everything you could. All right. Let me tell you something, friends. This 8-year-old team played the most team-oriented game I have ever seen a team play, I think, outside maybe 1 or 2 times in my life. And I'm talking everything you look for. The A team, very talented. They'd shoot. If it bobbled, 3 of my players were in the net trying to push it out of the net. We never did a drill for that. They were just backing each other up. They all did their job. They did the best they could. It was a close game, a really close game, until about the last minute. I think we lost by 2 goals. I want to say the score was like 8-6, something like that. But we were winning at one point. It was a great hockey game, period. This is my point. Throw the A and the B out. It was a great hockey game. It was an ultimate display of teamwork. Our team is not as talented as that A team, nor should they have been. But they played together so well that they were able to compete a whole level above. And when you think about the start of the season to now, what a culmination. I'm blown away just thinking about it. And I said to the team after the game, and I mean this. I have never in my life been okay with a second place finish. Never. I've never swallowed it well. I've never felt good about it until that game. That's the first game I've ever coached in or been involved with where I was just so proud of the team. That was fine with me. I hate losing. I hate it. It's the only time in my life I can remember thinking, man, you guys gave everything you had. You played together. The team was paramount. I'm like speechless thinking about it right now. It was the ultimate display of teamwork. It proves to you that even at the Mite level, this stuff can be learned, can be taught when you have a good coaching staff, you have good parents, you have good kids. The stuff they learned and they taught me on this team is universal. It doesn't have to be done later on, and it's so important. So important. Was it a perfect season? No, those don't exist. Did the kids learn? Yes. Did I learn? Yes. Did the other coaches learn? Yes. Did the parents learn? Probably. That's the win. I was blown away by that. Told you, I'm paid to win. I was volunteer on this team. We won, even though we didn't win the last game of the year. I am so thankful to be leaving this season feeling this content. That's a gift. Think about your own kids. Think about yourself. How often do you really leave a season feeling amazing? I mean, you win the big game at the end of the year. Yeah, you're going to feel that, but it doesn't happen every year. I mean, if it happens to you a lot, God bless you. Another cool moment. Just the goalie came up to me, Riley, between halves, because these games are halves. And she says to me, this is something I thought was cool. She says, I hate this feeling, right? This feeling in my stomach. And I said, Riley, it's cool. I said, any big game you play in, you're going to feel that. It doesn't go away the older you get. You learn how to deal with it a little bit more. But I said, here's the cool thing. Only great players get to feel that feeling a lot. You're a great player. And I love that moment between her and I. I said, you're going to feel this a lot in your life. It's not a good feeling, but we're fortunate to feel that in a game, right? So many great moments. I could be here for 2 days talking if I talked about this team. But yeah, just looking at my notes, man, just blown away, guys. I'm just blown away by this team. And I'm going to say it again. I came in with a learning mentality. I learned a lot about myself, learned a lot about coaching, learned about other people. It was brilliant. I'm thankful for the opportunity. I really am. I'm thankful I said yes to the head coach at the beginning of the year. Now, again, I don't plan on coaching next year. It's a time thing. COVID's kind of ending. I'm not needed, really, literally not needed as much anymore. There's plenty of coaches. But I am so thankful for this experience. I really, really am. So in closing, because this was longer than I wanted it to be, I just want to say that, to the coaches, Jason, Micah, and Mike, and our team manager, Des, who, by the way, was unbelievable in herself. We didn't have to worry about anything the whole year. Everything was scheduled. She was on top of everything with communication. I didn't want to leave her out. Best team manager I ever remember having when I played. Loving mother, always had her kids with her, loving wife. I mean, just a brilliant, wonderful human being. When you have someone like that managing your team, it makes your life easier. Like, and again, you might as well include her with the coaching staff, right? Because we could not have done this season without her. And I'm really forever thankful for her kindness, right? Like, she never took that role, like, I'm the team manager. Never got that. It was just, I'm serving the team. What can I do for you? Amazing human being. So yeah, again, head coach Jason, Micah, Mike, and Des, wonderful. To all the parents, again, literally too many to name. Thank you for inviting me to have the opportunity to teach your children. I never look at that as anything other than a privilege. Thank you for your trust. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. It's to tease me because I say appreciate a lot. But you're wonderful people. You have wonderful kids. And to the players, look, again, won't use any last names, but to Garrett, Jonah, Braden, another Braden, Riley, John Henry, Finn, Bridget, Jack, and my son, Logan. Thank you for this wonderful season. And thank you for allowing me to teach you and coach you. And thank you for coaching me and teaching me. That's the gift of youth hockey. Everyone learns. And that's my final kind of plea to everybody, is bring that mentality, whether you're a parent, coach, assistant coach, player, team manager, organizer. Come to learn. Have an open mind. Lose the ego. And enjoy it. That's what this is all about. No one has ever asked me, and no one ever will ask me or any of these players in the future, what did you do in 2021, 2022 as a Mite? Could you give me your resume, please? No, but you know what they will say? Man, I was on this team once. We were together. We played an A team. We almost won a championship. We were so together. These kids are my friends. That's what they're going to say. That's the key to the whole thing. I know you guys know that. If you're watching this, you know that. I had to share it. I can't imagine a better way for the season. And it's not what I thought was going to happen. I was shocked by how these kids came together, how this team came together to support each other. Just blown away. They'll make you believe in humanity, man. I mean that. So look, that's going to do it for my season in review. Appreciate you listening to this if you did. I pray for that kind of magic for all of you. I really do. It's a wonderful thing if you can find it. I am superbly aware it's just not going to happen every year, and I'm thankful for it this year. I think I've said that enough. So that's going to do it for this, whatever it was, of My Kid Plays Hockey, because I'm not with my co-host today. But thanks for taking the time to listen to this. And I wish you nothing but the best in the off season and your future seasons. This is Lee signing off. See you soon. We hope you enjoyed this edition of Our Kids Play Hockey. Make sure to like and subscribe right now if you found value wherever you're listening, whether it's a podcast network, a social media network, or our website, ourkidsplayhockey.com. Also, make sure to check out our children's book, When Hockey Stops, at whenhockeystops.com. It's a book that helps children deal with adversity in the game and in life. We're very proud of it. But thanks so much for listening to this edition of Our Kids Play Hockey, and we'll see you on the next episode.